Hello, good people. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. Hoping that you are all well today, even as you go about your activities and endeavors. Today, I would like us to reminisce the life of the late Mwai Kibaki, the third president of Kenya. Maybe we can try to systematically have a brief overview of his life history. History tells us that he was born in 1931, and then he schooled in primary school those days. Then from the primary level, he advanced to Makerere University in Uganda. And then after his studies in Makerere, he advanced to the London School of Economics. That is the place which contributed to his vast knowledge of economics. Then he came back to Kenya, where he entered into the career of politics. In those days, during independence, he was one of the founding fathers, and he was one of the cabinet ministers in Mzee Jomo Kenyatta's first government. He was the best. He was a good economic minister. He planned the economics of the government in that day well. And years later, he would then become the vice president in President Daniel Moi's government. Then, unfortunately, he had a fallout with Moi, and then he went into the opposition to form the Democratic Party of Kenya. And then in the opposition, he would later become the leader of the official opposition. And it is claimed to this day that he gave vibrant relevancy to the office of the leader of the official opposition, which in his day kept the then government on its toes. And then later on in 2002, he joined with other opposition leaders to form a united opposition, which saw the ousting of KANU out of power, which then gave him an entry into the office of the presidency. So maybe to pause there, any Kenyan today who is above 35 years of age will confess to you that Kibaki was one of the best presidents that Kenya has ever had. And maybe even today, or even in many years to come, history will still tell us that Kibaki was one of the best presidents that Kenya has ever had. So during his presidency in 2003, when he came into power, he brought some major reforms in the governance of the country. He inherited a country which was badly ravaged by years of misrule, and whose economy was in a dilapidated form. And he promised that he would resurrect the economy, which he did during his 10 years of presidency, and especially during the first 5. So those of us who can remember, he introduced the free compulsory primary education, which popularized him and his government back in the day. And again, he brought other major reforms in other key sectors of the economy, like agriculture and infrastructural development. One key thing to note about the way he managed his governance is that he was a man of few words. Even his cabinet ministers would work independently with him without fear of intimidation. He also introduced the freedom of the press, which had been curtailed back in earlier days. Also, if we can remember, we enjoy some of the best infrastructures that he initiated, like the Thika Superhighway and many other development projects that he started. Another key milestone achievement of his presidency was the inauguration of the 2010 Constitution, which still helps to govern the country even to this day as we speak. So in addition to his being a man of few words, he was also a man with a big heart. He had compassion for everyone, and that was one of the hallmarks of his leadership style. He had a passion for transforming the lives of the citizens so that Kenya would become a better country. And even when he left office, during the time of leaving office, he left the economy at having had a growth of over 5%, which was still a very tremendous improvement from when he came into office in 2003. And even in his retirement, he maintained a low profile, which was very remarkable of him. And we who witnessed his passing on, we saw how massive his funeral was attended, and we all gave him a befitting send-off, and we also paid glowing tributes to him, and tributes even flowed from all over the globe. So in conclusion, I can personally say that he was one of my best role models, and I believe for many of us, and history will still remain to say that he was one of the best presidents that Kenya has ever had, and that he was also the gentleman of Kenya's politics. So let us have that as a food for thought as we reminisce his great life, and let us also emulate the good points that he left us to follow. Thanks, and be blessed.